What up, people? It's your boy, Master Chudy, out here with with a movie review. This time, I rarely do these. The last time I ever did one of these was with Batman and Harley Quinn a couple months back, last year. But I just watched The Death of Superman, and this is so good. So good, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm going to try to keep the spoilers to a minimum. A minimum. You'll probably get a little bit of snippets here and there, but you know what? It's DC, we always wish that DC's live action would be the day that would reach these heights of epicness. So far, it hasn't done that yet. But the animated never fails because it lets loose. It does its thing. It lets it breathe, respects its lore, and does everything well. So let's get on to the to the meat and grits of it. Let's see who we have to credit. So, of course, this was directed by Jake Castorena and Sam Liu, produced by James Tucker, but written by Peter J. Tomasi. Mm. Of course, we're not surprised. This was a good Superman movie. And of course, you have a Tomasi dude, the man himself, who's written Super Sons and Superman comics. Write it down. Nah, he's definitely the one and only guy to be writing this. So that's why I felt it so good. So, let's get to basically the plot. The plot, as we all know, many have read The Death of Superman. We know what happens. Doomsday comes and then Superman fights him, and then it does. Well, it's not really a spoiler per se if many people know from reading the comic book what it is. While I did get seriously into comics last year, I do remember as an 11-year-old in my library, I read The Death of Superman, and it was I was so enthralled with it because I like saw Superman die, and this was when like I was like 10 or 11, and I was like I was fresh off of just watching Justice League, always watching the Justice League cartoon, and then I watched the Superman animated shows, and I'm like, whoa, man, nothing can kill Superman. Superman's a beast, like, you're crazy. And then I saw what Doomsday did, and I was like, wow. And then I read the prevailing reign of Superman, where we had Superboy, we had Steel, we had Cyborg Superman and the Eradicator, and all of that good stuff. The story itself, fantastic is it takes more, it adds more, and it definitely respects its lore this time. This is not like the Superman versus Doomsday one in 2010 where Doomsday just pops up because of Lex Luthor having a secret project, and Superman fights and he dies by Doomsday, only for Lex Luthor to make a clone of Superman, an actual clone of Superman that he wants to control, yada yada yada. It was very underwhelming, but this movie respects what happened in the book. We know that it follows its source material very well, which is why I was pleasantly surprised to see Tomasi as the writer on this film. The characters, let's get into that. Superman. This is the new 52 Superman, and he's in the animated shows when they find after Flashpoint. Superman has been supposedly related to his New 52 stuff where he was a lot more brash and a little bit more ruthless. I mean, I've never really delved into New 52 Superman, but I have watched Justice League War, and Superman in that one was kind of a dick. But what we do see is that the Superman in this one is night and day with the Superman in Justice League War. I mean, he's concerned about his family. He has flaws. He's trying to he's trying to be this guy who just wants to do good. And this movie really does exemplify that completely, completely well. But but he does well. But then we get to see more of Lois Lane. You know, they've done. I've always liked every version of an animated Lois Lane. I feel like they always nail her character. It's like no doubt. We get to see Bibbo, who is a very lovable guy and everything like that. Lex Luthor, they definitely I think nailed certain aspects about him as well. We get to see the Kents. Um, You know, both Ma and Pa Kent are very much alive in this one. No, one or the other is not dead. They're both there. Very good. We get enough of the Justice League, but of course, this is all focused on Superman, and that's what they do. They focus directly on Superman, much like how Flashpoint focused on the Flash, and we all know the plethora of Batman movies that the DC animated universe and this particular one have come out, but we get to see a Clark-centric focused one. Many people saying that, oh, you know, oversaturation of Superman. Besides the last Superman movie to come out based on him and him alone would have been Superman Unbound, which should focus on the Brainiac thing, and that was 5 years ago. There hasn't been a Superman movie specifically for Superman in the animated realm for 5 years. So you bring him back. But meanwhile, we've had Batman every year. We've been getting Suicide Squad. Flash was the only one. The last Green Lantern movie for him was like in 2011. You know, 7 years ago. Wonder Woman's last movie was almost 10 years ago. Flashpoint, of course, 5 years ago. You know, so it's good to see. It's good to see this, and you know, we do get to see the characters. You know, fight Doomsday, and this is a perfectly good segue for me to get into. You know, the fight scenes in this movie were fantastic. Some of the best thing I've ever seen. Like, you know, Suicide Squad, they had some very good choreography in their fighting as well. It seems like that's great in that department. Very fantastic. Very well done. Everything was like that. So I just wanted to get that off. I just wanted to, you know, give my thoughts on it. And yes, this is technically I said no spoilers, but then again, if you read the death of Superman, the comic, then you know what's going to happen. You know how it goes basically. And you know, I didn't want to spoil. Maybe I didn't want to spoil the extra details of it, but you know, it's very good. It's very well done, and I'm looking forward to the Reign of Superman, which comes out in a year, next year. But then again, they got to build up the suspense. I think they've done well. I'm very happy with the DC animated universe in this case. I give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I highly recommend it if you can. How did I find it? Yes, it was leaked, and I can recommend go to kimcartoon.me. You know, you'll find that, and you can see it in the website right here. But yeah, you know, just want to get that out. Thank y'all for watching, and thank you, Peter J. Tomasi, for writing a very good piece of work. Once again, thank y'all for watching, and I will see y'all soon. New comic book days tomorrow, so expect some reviews.